Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Nikki and this is an actual speed build because as you can see I have finally built something from scratch. So this is a build or a home for the Spells and Shells household, which is the third household in my Legacy Packs challenge. And with this build, I am building a home for Hexa, who is a spellcaster, and Coraline, who is a mermaid, and they represent the colors yellow and blue. So I wanted to, first of all, the reason why I'm building this home from scratch is because they are living in Magnolia Promenade, and that isn't even a residential world. There's only 4 lots in this world. They are all retail. 3 of the 4 lots are retail spaces, and then the 4th lot is an empty lot, which is where I'm building. I tend to renovate existing builds, but I didn't have the opportunity to do this. I didn't want to renovate an existing retail spot because then it would just look odd that there's still just an empty lot in this really small world. So what I did is I went on Pinterest and looked for some builds that would, or existing buildings that would give me inspiration for an idea that I had in my head. And I will place somewhere on the screen the photo that I found that inspired me to make this build. And what I wanted was a build that was small enough to be just a normal home, but also there was a small section of the home that could be a public business or a public space. I wanted the public business space to be actually quite small. It's not even as small as I wanted it to be in the end, but I just wanted it to look like Coraline, because the pack that she is representing is Dine Out. So I wanted a small part of the build to have an indoor-outdoor eating area connected to their home kitchen, where she would make meals and sell the food as like a startup business. I originally had this idea of it looking quite rustic, quite homemade, quite like, you know, just a family business, but it ended up looking a little bit more smarter than I originally intended. It didn't look like it was someone's first business, but I think the build itself kind of inspired me to make it a little bit more smarter than I originally thought it would be. And also the styling, oh my god, I will get into the styling of the home. The styling of the entire build itself kind of made the restaurant, see, I don't even want to call it a restaurant. It's not meant to be like an established eating place. I just wanted it to be like, originally I actually thought that she would have like a food market table just at the front, and maybe I should have done that. I really wanted it to look like she was just starting from the ground up in terms of her food career, but I went in a slightly different direction. And oh my god, did I struggle with this build? Yes, I did. So if you've watched the previous 2 builds for the Canvas and Cosmos home and the Bite and Bark home, you would have seen that I intended for me to use just the packs that the household members represent. And so in the beginning, I am trying really, really hard to use just Dine Out, Get to Work, that's Hexa, and then Realm of Magic, which is also Hexa, and Island Living, because Coraline is a mermaid. And then use the colors within those packs to fill the house. It was not easy. I will show, or I will mention the part where I just gave up on the idea because the range or the limitation was, it felt like it was this big. And when you have a design style in mind with a limit this big of what you can use, it just didn't work. And I was really frustrated for a long time. It took me actually longer than it normally does to complete this build, because I just could not make up my mind, and almost everything you see changes over and over and over again. And to the end, I just decided that I'm just going to use every pack I have but still keep it to be yellow and blue. And also, are those colors easy to combine when you want to make a home look nice? It's not that easy. Not that easy for me. So let me just talk through what I'm working on at the moment. So as you can see, I've got the shell of the house, which I'm actually really proud of. It took me a little while to get there because I'm thinking of creating a section on the left side, which is the eating establishment, and then I really wanted that to be connected to the kitchen, where that is the household kitchen, and then they just use that to stock the food for the, I don't even want to say restaurant, but I didn't want it to be big. I wanted there to be minimal seating. It's almost like a takeaway place that just happens to be to have tables if you want to sit down. So at the moment, I'm using primarily Dine Out items here and building by items. So the flooring, the walls, the tables, the chairs, they're from Dine Out. And I think this is the first time I cheated, where I used, you see those triangle windows at the top of where the roofs. What is the plural of roofs? Roofs. Those windows at the top was the first inkling of me thinking, I'm just gonna sneak in another pack here. So at the moment, everything is primarily base game and Dine Out, and then some doors and windows are from Island Living. Although Island Living has such a distinctive style and it looks good in Solani, but we're not in Solani, so it just didn't work as well as I'd like. But I'm using Dine Out primarily on the kitchen and the eating establishment, and I really love the walls and the flooring, and I love that shade of blue as well. That's another thing that I had trouble with, was fair enough, I have to work with blue and yellow, but they have to be nice shades of blue and yellow. I was almost going crazy with how much buttercup yellow there was, and that's not my favorite version of yellow. I really love like mustard yellow, kind of orange yellow, dark yellow, amber yellow, and there's so much buttercup yellow, and it's not my vibe. It's not for me. So I'm thinking also, another thing that I wanted to make clear is that because not only is Coraline in the Dine Out career, and I think she's a glutton, and she's going to raise her skills in cooking and gourmet cooking. Her roommate Hexa, who, even though her job is a detective, she is a foodie. So I wanted it to be very clear that this home is going to be like one of those social spaces where they cook lots of meals and have dinner parties and have friends around. I really kind of saw it as that space, like, so that's why I wanted the kitchen and the living room to be like one open plan space. So when they have when they're hosting dinner parties and having their social gatherings, it's just like one lovely kind of social space, and the kitchen is almost like the space that they'll probably hang out in the most. So I loved the concept. Having a concept and executing the concept are two completely different things. So you can tell me if you think I failed or not. But yeah, I settled temporarily on the Dine Out kitchen counters, which is like this metal steel counters, and it kind of looks like, if you go into a professional kitchen, all that steel countertops kind of is reminiscent of what you'd see there. And also I loved that the big cooker with the hole in the wall, so you could see the people on the other side. So that's what I really kind of originally wanted, is that I wanted there to be a connection between the kitchen that was for the home, but also the restaurant, which is on the other side. But I didn't think that would work in terms of making money, so I changed that, because if you place food just on a counter and someone eats it, you can't earn money like that. I absolutely didn't want to turn the home into a restaurant lot with the waiter stand, and you have staff, and you have to seat them, and you have to pick the menu. I didn't want that. That is her end goal. So eventually she'll build up to earning enough money to buy a restaurant outright, but I didn't want to have that set up in their home at the beginning of this legacy challenge. I just wanted it to be like a simple, you go there and get some home cooked food and you pay for it and you can go kind of thing. So, but as you can see also, I'm bouncing from room to room to room because of my general frustration with not knowing how to do this, as in make a cohesive home with these colors, with these personalities, because I kind of also decided that they're quite not sophisticated, but they're a little bit more upmarket, and they're more stylish, than the average sim. So I wanted there to look like they have good taste, which is actually a reflection of whether I have good taste or not. So anyways, so I bought this beautiful bathroom kit that is really beautiful, and I've forgotten the name of the kit. Damn. But it's a really beautiful kit. It came out recently, and basically everything in this bathroom is from that one kit. And luckily they had blue swatches. A lot of the time also I'm using the filter on the items below, filtering them by pack and color, or pack or color. And so when I filtered the bathroom by blue, this kit came up, and I was like stunned that I could actually have a really beautiful bathroom in the color blue, and it actually looks nice. So I think the bathroom is actually my favorite room in this build, because that kit alone is just so beautiful. So everything is from that kit. It's a very recent bathroom kit, and I'm really annoyed with myself that I can't remember what it's called. But I didn't buy it recently, and there's like 100 million kits, so who is trying to remember the names of all of these packs that The Sims 4 has? So at the moment now we are working on Hexa's room. So just as a reminder, her color is yellow, but she's also a spellcaster and she's a detective. What a combo. So I want her room to look practical, but also kind kind of magical. Initially I wanted her to be able to not to study but to work in her bedroom, because she is a detective. I kind of wanted her to have a desk in her room, because every home I want to have one computer. If they earn enough money, they can buy a second one, but I want them to be able to have at least one computer, and this computer will initially belong to Hexa. But these rooms are criminally small. I've mentioned before, bedrooms are my weakest point. And so when I realized after you fit a double bed in these rooms, there's not much space to fit in anything else, I started to panic a little bit. But I had already done like the layout, the floor plan. I'd already have the beautiful bathroom in place. And so I just thought, I'm just going to have to work with what I have. And at this point, I'm still trying to work with the packs that the household members come from. Not fully. I'm kind of like letting go of that limitation slowly over time as I get more frustrated with everything not looking as great as I want it to look. But I'm trying to make these rooms look not so compact. I want them to look practical. It really annoys me when there's not like a wardrobe or at least something that holds clothes in a bedroom, because my bedroom is just my bed and space to hold my clothes. There's nothing really else in the bedroom. So if I can't even fit that in, that's just like a major fail for me. As you can see, I've moved on from the bedrooms. I tend to do that a lot when I get frustrated with a room or it's not coming out as I imagine. Then I just move on and, you know, give myself like a mental break from it and hopefully get inspiration another time when I get back to it. So at the moment we are now in the back garden, and look at the luxury here. They have a swimming pool, but the reason why they have a swimming pool is because Coraline is a mermaid. And so again, I haven't played with mermaids. I don't know the rules of mermaids or any occult, which I really think is going to bite me in the butt when I actually finally play these characters in the Legacy pack. Because at the moment I'm just thinking, oh, isn't it cute that she's a witch? Isn't it cute that he's a werewolf? I think it's going to be so much harder than I realize when there's probably, they have like skill trees, right? They have like individual things that they need to achieve as their occult. And I'm assuming that the mermaid has maybe she has to stay hydrated, or, you know, she can't be away from water for too long. So that's why I gave her a pool. But I don't know the rules, and I didn't want the pool to be too big, so I just gave her like a small pool in the back, and I thought that was kind of cute. And we'll see how that goes. I really like this flooring. This flooring is from we're fading out. The flooring was from Island Living, so I'm still trying to make these packs work for me. But as you can see, if you're familiar with these packs, you know that I'm throwing everything at the wall now. I'm just seeing what sticks, and it's basically a Jesus take the wheel moment. I'm just trying whatever now. So this is the point where I'm like, I don't care what pack these items are come from. I don't even have like a lot to value in mind. I was so naive. I was so hopeful in the beginning when I made the first build, where I was like, it's only from these packs and it's only these colors and it's not going to be over 30,000 simoleons. And wow, how times have changed. I am not that person anymore. I am a completely different Nikki. I am like chuck, sticks, no, sticks, no, sticks, yeah, okay, move on. So I've completely changed. So at the moment I am working on the living room, and it's a really basic living room actually. It's more just like a social gathering room. No TV. I don't think I even considered a TV in this room. So no TV. They're quite like ambitious young ladies. I feel like Hexa will be like a workaholic. She's a detective. She's dedicated to solving cases. I think she's ambitious as well. And then Coraline is aspiring to be a restaurateur. So I think her aspiration is to be fabulously wealthy. So these girls don't have time to sit around and watch, Love Island. They are working on their businesses, on their jobs, on their careers, and so why do they need a TV? I mean, they can watch Netflix on the computer if they choose to. I don't even have a TV actually. I only have a computer. TVs, it's old school. So I have now moved to the outside, and the wall, I love this brick. This brick is actually from Dine Out again, but I end up changing it a little bit because I was conscious that I probably strayed too far from the reference pick. Not like that even mattered, but I really loved the reference pick and the colouring of the building, and so I change it a little bit later, but I keep the brick on certain parts of the building. And here, this is where I am, I guess, decorating and still moving things around and trying colours, and it's so hard. I think I mentioned this before. It's so hard to find tones that work together, and where that really comes into play actually is when I'm doing Coraline's blue room. There's so many different shades of blue, and I'm really kind of fussy when it comes to not. You can kind of mix patterns and mix colors and mix tones, but I feel like sometimes it's hard to pinpoint why some look good and some don't, and I really struggled. I think that's probably the room I struggled with the most, is because whenever I found something that I liked, it threw off everything else because this blue didn't match that blue, and then I'll choose something else and it's a different blue, but now this blue doesn't match that blue, and so that was really a struggle. This is where like I've now reached a point where I'm like, okay, because I'm now open to using all the packs, I am redoing this kitchen or lots of things. So I made the public eating area a little bit bigger because what I wanted now at this point was to have you see this display box is actually like a fridge, and so you can put food in there and it preserves it for way longer, and then it also acts as a counter, a business counter. There's a proper word for it, but I can't remember it right now, where when a sim takes food or an item from that display, it will be paid for. So that's what I wanted. So I had to remove I did love that Dine Out cooker where you can kind of see with the hole in the middle, but that just wasn't going to generate money. And so I swapped it and made like a little counter where Coraline could sit on like behind, and she can kind of be like selling her food, and then the food on display will be right there, and you have like a menu, you can go in, you can sit down. But at this point it is looking a little bit more posh than I originally intended. I really did want it to look a little bit more rustic and homemade. I think it looks like maybe she comes from money, and maybe she does come from money. There's nothing wrong with that. She's spent it looks like she spent money in this room. There's nothing wrong with that. Could never be me. I could not make something look like, with that flooring and those wheels. Did I say wheels? Those walls. With those walls, that cost money. And I don't even know why I put a bar at the back. I'm actually going to change that. I don't know why I put a bar there. We're not selling drinks, we're selling food. I think I got carried away with the Dine Out clutter items or display items that was available to me. But here I just thought, oh, a little cute till or a cash register. I thought that was like a nice touch. And at this stage I was like, ooh, I love this kitchen counter set. I think it's from Home Chef Hustle, and I really just love this gold streak across the middle. I thought it's funny because I was speaking to someone and I was saying how it's so hard to find nice yellows, and they said, doesn't gold count as yellow? And I was like, oh, gold does count as yellow. So I just thought it was like a really nice touch, this brown kitchen unit, and then with the gold in the middle, and then the other items like the fridge, the cooker, the sink, they all have gold fittings. I just thought, oh, this looks really nice now. This shade of blue and this shade of yellow works. I'm not too, hang on, my mum's just texted me. Apologies. I'm not too sold on the chairs that I ended up choosing, but I really kind of like how minimal they are. The table is really simple and clean. You could see before that I was trying to search between all these different tables, and just sometimes like basic works, you know, basic is what really pulls everything together. And also when something is not designed, it's actually more timeless. And so I just chose this really basic large table, enough for you to have a big gathering. People can sit at the kitchen table, people can sit on the sofas. I just thought this is a really lovely social gathering space. And also I kind of early on I made the decision to make the kitchen blue and then the living space yellow. But in the end I end up adding each color a little bit on each side. So there's some yellow in the kitchen and some blue in the living space, but I kind of like that separation. I think it looked a little bit more intentional rather than messy. And so I changed the walls as well because I didn't want the same wall for, like, I didn't want restaurant wallpaper in the living space. The reason why I did that earlier is because my options were really limited. But after I threw the limits out the window, you know, no holes barred. Is that the right phrase? So here I have changed the outside. It's still a brick. It's still like a lovely textured brick on the outside, but it's just got like a more smooth, creamy color, which I really love. And then on the sides, the parallel sides, I kept the rougher brick. So it kind of looks like the girls, when they either built or bought this space, they made the effort to like paint the front to make it look a little bit welcoming, but could not stretch to paint the rest of the bricks on the side. So that's kind of like the law, why the bricks are slightly different on the outside. And then yeah, here I'm just changing all the detailing. So I'm changing some of the columns, I end up changing the color of the tables. I made it less blue. I don't know why though. I think it's because I liked the tables being brown to make it more overall cohesive. Just so yeah, I'm making the tables brown here. But yeah, I'm still like flipping through each room because I'm doing this over several days when I've got time to record. So you know how you love something one day and then you go back to it after a few hours or a break or overnight, and you look at it again, I'm like, why? I don't like that. Why did I do that? So here I'm going back to where I struggled the most, and that is the blue bedroom. I really love this rug actually. The rug that I am changing with the tool mod, but I can't remember why. That's not the final rug I end up choosing. This wall in this room is from Island Living, and I actually quite like this wall, but I think for this space, because it's so small, there's just something that didn't sit right with me with every wall being this kind of panel wood brown. So I made, I just love a feature wall. Me and my feature walls, I'm so like cliche, but yeah, I end up changing the walls. But as you can see now, look, the blues don't match. So I'm like, oh, this rug doesn't match with these walls now. Also, I wasn't sure if I should attempt to make the room look, this is going to sound silly, like watery. I didn't know if it should look like ocean themed, but I didn't really have that much option to do that. But what did change everything around for me was this bed. So I originally wanted this bed to be in Hexa's room because the bed is from the realm of magic, but they don't have a yellow swatch in this bed. And then when I ended up looking for beds in blue, this bed came up. So I thought it was quite ironic that the Mermaid gets the realm of magic bed instead of the Spellcaster. But I just loved it. I just think it looks so regal, and I think she does come from money actually, because who can afford a bed like that? So here, this is where I'm trying to like really work with the colors. I love this furniture as well. I can't remember what pack that furniture is from. Again, I did like filtering blue, and this furniture came up, and I just love it. So I thought, okay, I'll try fit this in this tiny ass room. Struggled, and I thought, oh, look at me using the tool mod to tilt a pillow. Look at me. I'm getting there with the tool, because I find the tool mod so tricky. Have I read the how-to of it? No, I haven't. But I'm like a try and see person, and I've seen other builders kind of tilt the pillow with the tool mod to put on the sofa, and I love the blue accent color on the sofas. So I must say I felt quite proud of myself after doing that. So here, I really need help here, because what do you do with blank walls in a room that's too small to put anything against it? Because I have a double bed in these rooms, I can't really put anything on these walls apart from pictures. I hate like an empty blank wall. I was really struggling, but I really love this light. I felt like, because the light shade is kind of like a glassy blue, it gives like a kind of blue cold tone to this bedroom, and I thought it kind of looked like, you know, like if you looked inside of a fish tank and it's kind of got like kind of odd kind of tone to the water. That's kind of what I thought this the lampshades, the hanging lampshades, did for this room. I just really loved how it changed the colouring of the room, but also it's not too over the top. Here I'm trying to just add as many Island Living clutter items or wall items to the space. Kind of my idea was to make her feel like she was home. Like I kind of feel like she left Sulani to pursue her dream in the city, but she brought items from home to make her feel more, you know, relaxed. So that was the idea for Coraline's bedroom. I would give it a 6 out of 10. I feel like I could do so much better. Bedrooms are my nemesis. I don't know why I fail at bedrooms. They're so hard. So I've moved on from Coraline's bedroom to Hexa's bedroom. Originally, like I said before, I really wanted to put a desk in her room because I kind of felt like she would be like working on her cases in her bedroom, in like the privacy of her own space. You know, it's not like work that you should really be doing in public or even around, you know, like cases are confidential, right? I don't think you can start off as a detective. I think maybe that's the final branch, like you have to work your way up to being a detective. But even so, I thought she would work in her bedroom. I think I scrapped that idea in the end just because I was thinking, where would this lady put her clothes? Where is she putting her clothes, please? I didn't know. But I found all of this interesting furniture from the realm of magic, which I would never use in any other circumstance. And I just thought, just use it now, like make it work. Just make it work, Nikki. Like, oh my God, can someone tell me? My biggest pet peeve, right, is you get a pack and you get furniture, but the swatches of the furniture don't match. Why? Why, if you get a set of furniture and you have a table and you have a desk and you have a kitchen counter and you have a chair or whatever, and you want them all in the same room, tell me why the swatches don't match. Who is playing silly games in the development room where they're like, oh, we'll put this swatch here, but we won't give the others that swatch, ha ha ha. Like, it's not funny. I don't like it. It's very jarring for me. I found that to be really frustrating. Please tell me if you've experienced that. It's so frustrating. But anyway, sorry. Here I am still in Hexa's room and I am trying to work out how to merge her being a spellcaster with her being a stylish woman. I don't think I managed that. This room is so yellow. it's almost, I want to say ghastly. It's not ghastly. I love the floor. I think the floor is the vampire pack. So I love the floor. I think the color of the bed, the curtains, the walls kind of look nice. I think what makes this, ignore my feature wall. I don't know. I just love a feature wall. I'm sorry. But I think the coloring of the furniture kind of throws things off a little bit. But I just really wanted to use Realm of Magic furniture because I just don't think, oh God, there is a Realm of Magic legacy, isn't there? Or generation. I'm the one who threw in that these household members will be occults. Why did I do that? Because these occult packs will have their own generation. So I'm just making things hard on myself. Why have I done this? I didn't say before, but in when I was testing the Bite and Bark home, and I put Harry in the room because obviously I have to film footage of them being in their home, and he turned into a werewolf because I think you're meant to do something to keep them from turning, and he went on like this rage rampage. That's correct. Around the house, and he was tearing things up, and then Ava was like running around like scared. None of that made the final footage, obviously, but I was like, oh my God, I'm actually gonna have to work harder because I've made these Sims an occult in these early generation packs when I didn't have to do that. So yeah, I hope you'll be along for the ride when I finally record the Let's Play. But here, as you can see, I am now just going around every room. So I think overall, every room is kind of like done, finished. But at the end, I am just going through every room and just kind of placing like final touches, kind of working out what's missing, what needs to be added, what can be changed, what needs finalizing. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Still trying my best at including items from packs. So there's some island living items in the backyard with the loungers and the table and the lights, and maybe the beach towels. Don't ask me why I put that light outside. I think I was just tired at this point. At one point I was recording till like 3 in the morning, I think, because I just thought I cannot work on this. I can't work on this build anymore. I just need to get it done. I need to finish it. I need to edit it. I need to just complete it. So at the end, I'm making like some questionable decisions. And when I was editing the video, I was like, why on earth did I do that? And that kind of flowery lamp outside near the beach lounges or loungers is one of those like why questions. But yeah, I'm just oh god, the windows in the kitchen didn't work for me. The windows overall did not work for me. I think it's the only thing I didn't go back and change when I realized that I'm using all the packs. I could have just changed the windows. This is me just doing final touches now. I just thought, oh, maybe you'd have a vent if you have a kitchen and you're making lots and lots of food. So final vent on the roof. I'm now checking everything. But yeah, this is the build, and let me show you around in real time. Hi friends, so this is the final build. So this is the outside. So let's just take a look inside. So what initially inspired me for this entire build was having this really basic, simple eating area on one side. So this is the outside, and it's really super minimal. Not many places to sit. It's meant to feel a little bit exclusive, a little bit like a hidden gem kind of place. So I feel really bad that you have to charge people to come in before you charge them for the food that they're about to purchase, but that is how the businesses and hobbies pack works. Coraline could sit here and run the shop. It doesn't really need running. It's just, she'll be more in the kitchen, but I wanted it to look like there was some kind of customer service. Why is it so laggy? This is the kitchen. I actually kept it really basic because I wanted to force myself to just be able to cook without like the pizza oven and there's like a waffle toaster and hot pot, and I didn't. Oh my god, who is freezing to death? Please explain to me why she is doing this. Oh my god, could you put some clothes on? Goodness gracious. Okay, so back to the tour. I think by the time I finished the build, I was so fed up I didn't actually add any clutter to the kitchen, and I'm only realizing that now. But yes, it looks it looks so empty, but you know, I will add more as we play, or maybe just more offline. So we move from the kitchen to the living space, and I continued the flooring from the kitchen into the living space. So it's the same flooring and just a slightly warmer color. Also kept it really minimal, on the left here is the bathroom, and like I said before, I think it's my favorite room in the house, only because it's just really stylish, and that's because the pack is really stylish. You can't really go wrong with this pack, to be honest. This is Coraline's room, and yes, please tell me how to decorate walls when the bedroom is so small you can't fit anything against the wall. But this is her only her only space to hold all the clothes she has. Oh no, she has 2 bedside tables, so that's fine. I love those lamps actually. I don't even know where they're from. Then next door we have Hexa's room, and it's very yellow, also very basic, very simple, and I think it's a little bit more bare than I meant to have it, because again I just got tired. And then we have just a little walkway or entrance space before you come into the living space, and then this is their own personal porch. And I didn't really want to separate the public space from the private space too much. Then we have the backyard, and the lighting is not great right now. I should have started recording when it was the morning, but look at that bubbling cauldron in the back. That's actually quite cool. And I don't think it's really ideal to be sunbathing in the snow at night, but you know, do your thing. So yeah, this is the build, and I actually really love the bones of the home. So I'm kind of proud that this is kind of a build from scratch, although I did use a reference picture, but I really like it in the end. I think if I had more time, I would have cluttered it up a bit more, but I was getting really frustrated with myself. So I think once I felt like it was done, I just put it to bed. So yeah, that is the entire build. I think it's quite cute, a nice start to me getting used to creating builds from scratch. I think actually I'm more inspired to do builds from reference pictures more now than ever before. So this is my road on that journey. But yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave any comments, tips or suggestions in the comment section below. I read all of them, and I hope you will join me on this journey to me creating more builds and of course more cast videos. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more. Thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. I should point my microphone to my face. That would make sense. That would make sense. I look so tired. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. What am I saying? This is my road on the journey. Let me start that again.